our Friday so far. How's everyone doing? Everyone can hear me okay? Just make sure that there's no problems with my audio. Sometimes it can be a little bit funky on me. Anyone, before we get started today and what we're going to do, does anyone have any questions that I can answer, whether it, be with respect to something that you're doing, whether it is CRM related, Facebook related, anything related? I'd be happy to accomplish that or answer those questions for you. Hi, Asya. Hope you're doing well. But if anyone has any questions, by all means, feel free to put that in the chat. You also have the Q&A session where you can do that. Now, this is a topic that we have done before, but it is something that I strongly believe in and encourage, and that is content on your website. So some of you may or may not have websites with Agentlocator. So if you don't have a website with us, like a branded website, and you're only on lead generation, apply this to your other provider's website if they have the ability to do a blog, because blogging is ultimately what's going to help you on Google. Google's going to recognize that you are adding relevant content to your website. So it's not just about adding it to your website, it's getting people to more or less read that content, of course, because that's important as well as not just writing it, but you, of course, want to be able to drive traffic to your website in one way, shape, or form doing so. So we're going to do that, and then I'm also going to show you guys quickly, because a lot of you guys do have Facebook pages, but you want to increase those audiences. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust my screen here. I just noticed that I'm like really weird on there. So basically, increasing your page likes. How to do that? So there is a method in Facebook where you can actually pay to increase those likes and get your stuff, because some of you may already have a lot of people that like your page, but not everyone sees your post. So it's all about boosting those algorithms so that more people see that page information and so on. So before we get started on that, does anyone have any questions that kind of coincide with these topics specifically? How many of you, if you guys want to just raise your hands even or use the chat, whatever, how many of you guys currently blog on your website, if any of you? Doesn't look like, so no one blogs on their website? Okay, well, we have, who do we have here? Not yet, Saskia did, so she wants to learn, awesome. So I did do a little bit of research with respect. So Sharon Morecraft, she does it, but not consistently. I hear you. It is definitely something that is very easy for me to tell you guys to do. It is another factor 100% for you guys to actually implement and do that on a regular basis. So it is simple, and some people they enjoy writing, and some people could do without writing. 100% understand that. But the great thing is all the content is out there. You guys know your industry. You know a lot of what people are interested in general, and it's just putting it to pay, putting it down into words and finding the time to do that. So even if you find, one day a week or one day every other week where you kind of dedicate to doing this, the one thing that's great with Agentlocator is that you can actually schedule blog posts. So if, and we can go over that, but if, let's say you sat down and you were just like, your momentum's going, you've got blogs, you can actually schedule, okay, one's going to go out today, and then this one's going to actually go on my website next week. So you definitely have that ability to schedule things so that it looks like you're doing it consistently, but you're really just taking one chunk of time and doing that. Similar to how you can schedule Facebook posts as well. So I'm not sure if you guys know how to do that. Does anyone know how to schedule Facebook posts on here, so that if you guys are sitting down and creating just distant Facebook posts about random things, you can actually schedule those posts so that it looks again like you're sitting there doing it all at once, but reality, or doing it over a series of time, but reality is you just sat down one time and did it all in one chunk. So a lot of providers that offer Facebook stuff, that's what they do. they sit there and they take one day, or, you know, even sometimes like they'll do it for the month. They'll just schedule all the posts for the month so that it's taken care of. And then there might be the odd one that they throw in there. So the first thing that I'm going to go over, so if you guys have a branded website with us, you are going to be able to access your editor just on the left-hand side here where your website link is. So this is right here. Of course, if you don't have one of our websites, however you access your blog is however you access your blog. Now, when you go in here, you're going to click on Use in Website Editor. This is going to pull up your website in editor mode. You know it's in editor mode because there's 3 black dots or squares here that you're going to see on the right-hand side. Those are the little editor tools there for you. So on your website, you will have a blog. Some of you may have it hidden. So if you are in your editor, you will be able to see the hidden pages. So if your blog is hidden, you can definitely unhide it because some people hide it because they're not blogging, which is understandable. So in here, you would just go, once you're in your editor, you just simply go to your blog. And at the very bottom of the page, you can see various factors. So you can see you can add a new blog post. You can also add a new category. So you can have different categories for your blog. So, you know, I think I did here where, you know, one maybe is Toronto condos, just one that I threw in there, and then in the community. So you can definitely kind of categorize your blogs and where they go, reflective of different topics that you're writing about. Regardless of the category you put it in, it'll always show up in the feed. So as you see here, there's the recent feed on the website of the different blogs that you're posting. Regardless of the category you throw it in, it'll always show in the most recent blog feed there. It's just more or less if the consumer is going on blog and they're interested in specific categories. So to create a blog post on here, basically all you're going to do is go add new blog post. So this is where you can schedule it. So if you want this to go on your website at a later date, this is where you would put that later date. Now you can put the blog post title. So, you know, let's just go Facebook blog post. This is the title of it. You put the author's name. It's going to automatically default to your name. But if somebody else wrote that blog, by all means, throw their name in there. Then you have tags on the blog itself. So let's just go like Facebook, real estate. These are just different like keywords in that blog essentially that may pull up. So once you've got this all created, you just simply go add blog post and edit. Now, you obviously need to add your blog post. So you're going to go into the editor. So right here on the right-hand side, when you go in the editor, you're going to know you're in the editor because the little dashes show up indicating that you can write text in there. And when you click on it, the text field shows up. So in your blog post, you definitely have the ability to include video as well. So if you have like a video that you have on YouTube, for example, you can grab the iframe for that like the embedded code for that YouTube and throw it in there. So just to quickly show you how that works is when you are on YouTube, we'll wait for this to load here, and you click anyone here. And then basically you are just going to share that, right? So you're going to share this and it gives you options. In this case, you want the embedded link and you're just going to copy this whole thing. You can have it so that, you know, it starts at a specific time if you really wanted to. You can also hide the player controls so people can't actually control the video. They're like forced to watch it for the most part. They can't fast forward. They have to just kind of watch it as is. Entirely up to you if you wanted to do that. But essentially what you're going to do is copy that. So you just can click on the copy. And then in your blog post, you would go source. Okay, so in the source, you're going to throw that in here. This is a script, so you have to add it in as a source, and then you just simply go okay. It's going to show you the iframe. It's not going to show you the video at this point. What you're going to do is click outside the box and go okay. And to see that video, you're going to turn off the editor. and then you'll be able to see the video in here. So this is great. You can also do this in testimonials as well. So if you're adding text testimonials in your site, you can embed those videos as well if they're video testimonials. So I'm just going to turn back on the editor here. Now, once you have this on here, you can change the title. You're not stuck to that title. You can add more tags. You can also, essentially change the color. Maybe you wanted it to be purple instead, for what have you. And you can also download images or insert images in here as well. So you're not 100% limited. So you just click on image to do that. You would browse the server, and you're going to have access to all of our images, but you can also upload your own images as well. So you can definitely throw those in there. You can view it as full before if you want to, but you can add that in there if you care to. This one here, I'm going to try to switch the side to 100% and see what happens. So that fixed it in right in. So one thing I really want to mention to you guys in here is when you're using the editor, anytime you want it to save, you have to click outside of the box. That's going to, so if you start adding some text in here, that's going to encourage the save. So like if I type this, if I click outside the box, then that's how that's going to work. And I feel like I just changed my microphone on myself. There we go. Perfect. So yeah, it's going to prompt the save. This also goes if you're grabbing information, copying and pasting, or not copy and pasting because you don't want to do that. But if you're grabbing ideas from another page, do note if you start typing on here and then don't save it and then open up another window, it'll erase everything that you wrote. So I always say, as you write a chunk of information, prompt the save. That way you're not like, super frustrated with adding a bunch of information, then all of a sudden it disappears on you. So he had asked, can you add videos in blog? Yes, so that's what we just did here. This was the iframe that you're grabbing from YouTube in order to throw that into your blog post right in there. So that's how you're going to go about doing it. Now, you also have blog post settings down here at the bottom. So once you have that blog post in, you can actually add meta keywords. So these are the keywords that kind of come highlighted in Google, essentially, that basically these keywords want to be like keywords associated with what this blog is about. And you can even write a description here, kind of grabbing some of that context from that blog for Google to kind of pull that information as well. Now, I'm just going to save that. You can also add an image. So when you add an image, you just go add featured image. The best size is you're definitely going to want smaller images, not massive images. So the ones that I find work more or less the best is the same size as your featured communities, which is 440 by 240. You don't want it too big and you don't want it too small, basically is what it comes down to. So if we select that image, that will automatically show there. But if you wanted to change that image, you don't need to save it. Once you've added that image in there, you just add the image essentially. There is some miscellaneous ones, and I know there is a blog post one that featured blog posts. So yeah, so these are all 440 by 240. So if you're using any kind of editor to edit the size of an image, you're using the pixels. So you're changing the pixels to 440 by 240 and then saving it. And then you can upload that image right here if you're wanting to use one of your own custom unique images for that on your blog post. So some of you do get writer's block. I think we all do. When, sometimes we have these moments where we think, oh, I'm just going to, this is a great idea. And then other times we're just kind of like, I don't know what to write about. So I did find this cool article. I just did a basic search on Google. Google is amazing for that. I just searched for real estate blog ideas. It is really all I searched for. So I came across this article here. I'm going to post this in the chat for you guys. It is actually pretty cool with respect to that. So let me just throw that in here. So there's all different topics. Like it just gives you different ideas. So this is more or less, describing neighborhoods and things like that. So different topics that you can write about in there, things that have to do with the local community, businesses, things like that. You also have like stuff for buyer and seller stuff, how not to sell your house, different ideas. So really kind of, it'll probably spike something with you that you can relate to that you may find very easy to write about. And again, if you find a topic, search on Google, because there may be another article out there that will give you ideas. So if you kind of get stuck on an idea, I always say the content is all there. Put it in your own words. Do not copy an article from somebody else. It actually has negative effects on there. And then of course, they could come after you saying you are stealing my information. You are not authorized to do that. So you do have those buyer ones, home maintenance, like there's so many different topics that you can, write about. So it's really great. We have a lot of things with the situation going on right now. I see agents posting things to do with stats, this year compared to last year, or last month compared to this month, showing how the market is adjusting or not really changing in some places. Some places it's staying fairly consistent. Obviously sales have dropped, but some places the prices are still very consistent. In some areas they're actually, increasing as they normally would this time of year. So a lot of good topics there for you guys to use. And so that is there. And then another thing that I just want to, okay, so Sammy is asking, what are your thoughts on posting something someone else wrote but giving them 100% credit? You're not copying that. If you copy that word for word and put it in your blog, it'll actually have a negative Google impact on you, and it can actually negatively impact their blog post. So what I would do is, a lot of the times I see you see someone has a great article, whether it is, a news site, so Globe and Mail, National Post, City News, whatever it may be, and they have a great article. Put it in your own words, is what I would do. And then at the bottom of it, include a hyperlink. So I say for full, something like, so for the full article, go here, and then you can put the link there if you want to, or mention, for full, information provided by, the Globe and Mail, mention them, and then here's the full article. Because sometimes those articles that you see on some of those bigger news outlets, they're not worded in a way that the average consumer may understand what that means. So put it in your own words, dumb it down, make it simple, but reference that individual. So you can either copy, so if you were to copy facebook.com, and if you notice, I didn't save this, so that whole thing disappeared. So there's your learning lesson on that. But you can just paste that. It'll automatically include the hyperlink, or it should include that. Yeah, so it has the hyperlink already there. Now, you can also include hyperlinks in your blog post. So I do strongly encourage that as well. So if you're referencing the city of whatever, or the school board whatever, so you can go, to things like, City of Toronto, for example. You can highlight the text, and then you click this little chain link down here. So all your editors will have a chain link, whether you are using your email provider, you're in Microsoft Word, or anywhere, you will likely see a chain link. This is going to allow you to create a hyperlink. So if somebody clicks on that, I'm saying, okay, I want them to go to Facebook, and then I go, okay. So now this text is also going to link to Facebook. So if somebody clicks on it, they're going to be brought into that website. So referencing, again, if you're referencing another source of information, or you're talking about something, you can link it internally to another page within your website, as well as externally outside of your website to do that. But yeah, I wouldn't ever copy it word for word, even if you are giving them full credit. Put it in your own words, summarize it, and then for full information, courtesy of whoever it is, and then give them that way, because Google will start to recognize that you're also promoting other websites within your website as well. So once you have a blog on your website, you would probably want to share it, get some individuals on there. So how you would go about doing that is you could share it these ways. There's some ways down here to share it. Needless to say, if somebody's logged into Facebook, they can comment on it. When you go share down here, you actually have some more options. So some of these are, sites that none of us are familiar with. Some of us are, because some of them are just from different regions and parts of the world that, just because we don't use them here doesn't mean they're not used elsewhere, that sort of thing. So you guys may know if like you're dealing with people that are coming from overseas, there might be specific blog or tools and apps and things that they use over there that we don't actually use here. But it would be a great way for you to get it to them. To share the blog post on your page. So there's 2 steps to this when you're going to do it, and one is going to be the Facebook debugger. Okay, so just search Facebook debugger. Okay, so debugger, this right here, and then it will bring you into the sharing debugger. So if you ever have, and I'm sure a lot of you have probably encountered this before, where you try to share something and it's not the image that you have on your website. It's like giving you some like random image from your website. So if that happens, basically you just put in the URL here. So you would grab this URL for the blog post once you have that open, and then you just paste it in here and go debug. It's going to show you the picture. So if that's the appropriate picture, then great. If it's not, you're just going to keep scraping it. And then eventually the appropriate will show up. Now, to share this on social media, again, all you're going to do is copy that blog post URL and you're going to paste it into your Facebook. So typically you're going to do this on your Facebook page, of course, but you can just paste it there. Okay, currently I don't use this account very often. This is my ads account for Facebook. So once you post it, you will have that nice image that you have for that. And you can then write whatever it is, like what this blog is about, and then you simply post it. Now, when you post it, you will have anyone that clicks on it is going to be brought into your website to look at that article. Okay, so put it on your business page and share it on your profile. But if it's a commonly talked about subject that you can see people sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing, put that article in your words. It's definitely a topic that a lot of people are interested in, and it would be most beneficial for you guys to be writing that own article, because if people keep sharing this, so right now, if I was to share this on my profile, I have however many thousand friends on there. And then one of my people shared it, they have however many friends on theirs, and if one of their friends shares it, so it really just explodes that article, and anyone that's engaging in it is actually coming into your website to view that article. You can even go about boosting that article. So when it's on your page, boost it, spend, I think it's like a minimum of $1 something a day. I can't remember how much it is. They changed the rules, but boost it for a very minimal amount for a few days, get it in front of a larger audience, and then get, encourage some more clicks into it if it's a sought after topic. Does anyone have any questions surrounding the blog post and sharing it on Facebook or any of the things that I've just done? So Sammy is saying tiny URL first is advisable. So I don't need a tiny URL because I'm removing the URL together. I don't need the URL. So I'm not sure why, Sammy, why do you use the tiny URL personally? I'll wait for him to write. So tiny URL is great when you have a really long URL, of course. Yep. So, because like some of them they have, but if your URL creates a link, so in this case where I do it, this is a link. I don't actually even need this on here, needless to say. But if you wanted to create and post a tiny URL there afterwards, if they want to click on the URL instead, then you can. Yeah, so Sammy is saying, so yeah, so you can remove this. So once you post in Facebook, you will receive, like you'll at least see this. Sometimes you don't see the image until you actually post it, just so you guys know. So if you don't see an image right away, don't be alarmed. It will appear when you actually hit post. But once this is here, this serves as the link. So you can actually remove that URL altogether. You don't need it, but you can definitely throw in a tiny URL there if you want them to go, click here. If they want them to click that URL instead, then by all means, you can definitely do that, but you don't have to. Everyone creates their articles differently. If you notice, a lot of realtors, some of them will just post a link, all the pictures on Facebook and then a link to the listing on their Facebook. Some of them actually just post a link to their listing on the website and just use the main image. So everyone does it differently. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The goal is to just get the traffic to your website 100%. Now, this is where you can actually schedule your post as well. It might not allow me because I'm on a page, but typically you would have an option here where you can schedule that as well. Before you post it, you'll definitely be able to see that on your business page. So when you go to post on a business page, you will have that option, right? So post scheduling additional options, so publishing tools. So it used to be on the actual post that you could schedule it. So I'm not sure why, unless they just recently changed it. But on your Facebook page, you have your publishing tools right here. And it's taken forever to load. So you can schedule your posts, right? So schedule a post, create a post, and then you can schedule it to go out whenever you want to. So when you create that post, for example, here, I can then schedule it. So you know what? I want this to go and schedule it. I want it to go out on this day, and so on and so forth. So you can create a series. I know some people that'll sit there for like a full day and just do all their blog posts for the next little while, and then really they're just adding anything new that comes to light in the instance. So Ashley is saying, in other words, could I possibly post it to say, if you want to read the full article, provide the name and email address, for example? Well, you wouldn't put their email address, but if they want to read the full article, you just put a link to that full article on the other website, right? So if it was, this, let's just pull up the National Post, for example. You would just grab this article from there. So, to read the full article from the National Post, you can even do a hyperlink. So it says, click here, right? So to read the full article kind of thing. So to read the full article, posted on the National Post, I'm gonna go here, and then here you can hyperlink that so that somebody clicks on it, they're going to be linked to the Globe and National Post, if that makes sense. Because you wouldn't put an email address, because that would then send them an email, right? You want them to go to the article. And so Sharon wants to go over the debugger again. So I'll show you quickly here where we're in the editor, and I'm going to change this featured image. Okay, we'll see if it actually works right away. So let's just go into the featured communities. I'm going to grab another one. Let's just select this guy here. So now if I go into copy this, you're again going to go, you're going to search. The easiest way for me, because I can't remember what the URL is, personally, I just search Facebook debugger. I don't know if you know if I'm saying that properly. And then you post the URL of the page. It doesn't even have to be a blog. It's the page where the images have changed. And you just simply go debug. And it will, so you can see how it's still the old image. So we're going to keep scraping this. And it's trying to, there. So now the image has changed. So now when I share this article on Facebook, so if I go back and go to do that, it's going to be, or should be, the newer one. So let me just refresh this. And I love doing these live because it's always like when Murphy's Law comes into effect and, you know, doesn't always go as planned, but it should. Yep, so there we go. So now we've got the new image associated with that. Whereas if we hadn't have debugged it, it would have been the previous image. So Sharon, I hope that helps you. Does that make sense? So the scraping concept. So the scraping, so Asia is an understanding the scraping concept. So Asia, have you ever posted something from your website on social media, whether it's one of our websites or another website, and the image that you want to show isn't the one that's associated with what you're trying to share? It's giving you the wrong image. That's what the debugger does. Okay, so you haven't done it yet. So you might encounter that at some point where you go to share something and then the image isn't anything of what you wanted that image to be. So that's typically where the debugger would come in. You don't need to do the debugger unless your images are showing up incorrectly. If they're showing up incorrectly, then you would use the debugger to debug it and kind of clear it basically scrapes the site for new images to share on that page. This is actually a cool video. Just if you ever guys go on here, this is a page that I haven't used it in a while, but this little kid, he gets some and he knows like everything to do with real estate and what's equity and what's like he just is like probably knows a lot more than there's, you know, some of the people you know in the industry. So it was actually kind of cool to watch him. Yeah, so Oscar's saying, oh yes, news articles, but they revert to correct image on its own. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's where the debugger comes into play. Or if you just recently changed that image, it won't automatically show it right away because Facebook might have that, you know, it's just cached differently. It's cached on that domain in general as a previous image. So that's essentially how you would do that. Any more questions with respect to the blogging and what have you? We are good. We are good. So I'm going to actually challenge you guys on that. So anyone that's on here, what I'd love to see you guys all do by next Friday is create a blog post, at least one of them, on your website and post it to social media. If you have the means to do so, boost that post into your area, you know, however you go about doing that. And can I boost on here? No, I'm in the, I have to go in through another account. But you boost it. So when you boost a post, oh, that one I can boost. So you can never, just so you guys know, if you guys share an article from another source, you'll never be able to boost it. Just so you know, you can only boost your own articles. So here, I guess I don't have whatever insufficient permissions for that video. I'm not sure what that even means. But you would pick your target audience, right? So again, you would edit the target who's going to see that when you boost it. You can actually just boost it to the people who like your page. So if you're doing something and you just want everyone who likes your page to really see that article that you wrote, you can just target it directly at your page audience. And then they might share it or click on it, or it's bringing those people into your website nonetheless. You can also do one where it's like people who like your page and their friends. So all of their friends and the people that like your page will see it. So, and then it kind of goes through some of the similar, you know, how much you want to boost it for, you know, 5 days, you know, total, how much you're spending over 5 days. So it's going to give you a certain, so let's say you want to spend $6 or $5 over 5 days. I don't know if it'll allow me to. So $5 over 5 days, so $1 a day, you boost it. It would reach 160 people, in this case, 55 to 160, entirely how much you want to spend. So anytime you do a little post, boost it. get it in front of more people. You're not running a full ad with it. You're just getting it in front of a larger audience. Now, this page here, I have a lot of likes on it. That is because I ran a likes campaign on Facebook. A lot of these people, I don't even know who they are. So the likes campaign generated, a good chunk, probably 1,000 of the likes that I have, somewhere around there, to actually like this page. So what you would do if you want to run a likes campaign on your Facebook page, and this is really just something that you would set and forget. So you don't have to spend a huge amount of money on it, but definitely it's just something that you leave running. The longer you leave it running, the lower the cost per like actually gets. So what you would do is on your page, you would just go promote, and then you would promote your page. And so this is going to add, and so you can see where there's the likes here. So it's similar to creating an ad like you were in the ads manager, except for you're doing that. You can also use a post that you already have created if you really wanted to, or you can create your post. So one thing when you're doing your text here is you want to tell people to like your page. It seems like it's pretty self-explanatory that you're looking for the like, but sometimes you need to tell people. So something like, like, and make it stand out. So like my page for, and then the reason why they want to like your page. Right. So looking, like my page for real estate updates in the, or curious about how real estate market is turning this year, like my page and you'll stay up to date. Things like that, but you have to tell them to like your page. It seems kind of silly, but you do. It's more effective when you tell that person to like your page and why they're gonna like your page. You then choose your targeting. So similar to how you would do it in another campaign, editing that target. You probably don't care to have 18-year-olds like your business page, so you might want to start at a younger age for that. You can do this multiple times. You can do it like, like my page for up-to-date information for first-time home buyers, like my page, for information on how, downsizing your home or whatever it may be. So you can put that in there. You can, again, target locations. I did mine very, very broad. Okay, so I targeted all of Canada. Now, I don't recommend you guys doing that because you guys don't work all across Canada. So I would definitely target the locations that you're in, whether it's by city or postal code even. So if you work specific areas, you can definitely do that. And you can do the radius in this case. So if you're willing to work within a 25-mile radius of that, you can definitely change it. Maybe you're not willing to. So you only want to go 15 miles out. Will you not allow me to go 15 miles? There we go. So it'll actually lower it a little bit. So it kind of grabs that area. So anyone that's more or less living or traveling through that area, then you can definitely do that. You can include people that match certain things. So if people that express interest in real estate, you can definitely do that. Oh, come on. I did not add that one. And I'm just trying to see if this is going to allow me to go over. It's not allowing me to scroll over, but definitely it usually tells me that like how many people actually are interested in real estate. Usually it tells you. We'll just add it in there. So as you add things, it's basically defining your audience. So it's, dropping it down. Do not add a whole bunch of these. Like if you're going to add an interest, add, 1 or 2, 3, or if it's like first time buyer, if you're kind of doing like my page, for first time buyer stuff, you can definitely throw that in there. Because then it's people that have expressed interest or like pages related to first time buyer. And this one here is people who have liked or expressed interest in pages related to real estate as well. So it just defines the audience. You can definitely have it the exclusions as well. So like we just edit that. So if you don't want your ad, so excluding people, for people that are realtors, essentially. So Canadian Real Estate Association, this is going to be an interest, but majority of people that express any kind of interest in the Canadian Real Estate Association is likely a realtor or in the industry. You can then add different things such as like you can add like the different brokerages that are out there. So primarily what you're thinking of, and I'm not targeting RE/MAX in any way, shape, or form, but what you're looking for is either an employer or a job title when those come up. So anything that's an employer or job title is what you will want to exclude from your audience. So once you have that, again, you can just save it. You can have, if it's a likes campaign, for example, you're going to run this ad continuously and set your daily budget. Let's see if it allows for like $2 a day. So if you did it for $2 a day, you just kind of run through, it goes through there. It doesn't tell you on here what you're expecting. And then basically you promote. Right, so this is going to be part of your ad creative. Essentially, you're going to create that single image in, the text that goes on there, and this is just more or less the text that goes into your about section, really on your page. It's just kind of pulling that information right there. But you can definitely change these images. So there's stock images that you can use. So if it has to do with real estate, maybe you don't have one. This is all powered by, I think, Shutterstock. So there is like millions of that on here. So like real estate, we just search for real estate. And you'll see, you know, a lot of, you know, different things that you could use. And then you just go continue and it'll switch to the image that you selected to. And in a minute it'll switch. There we go. Right, so you can definitely get creative with these. Nonetheless, you could do a video or a slideshow if you want to, you know, get people to, you know, maybe you're great at creating videos and things like that. You can definitely go about doing that. Zita, yes, you can. Yes, so Zita, I will send out the link for this webinar so you guys can do the blog, share that, because I would love to see what your results are with regard to that, 100%. Like if you guys are boosting it, how much traffic you ended up getting, that sort of thing. I thought I had my ads manager open, but apparently I don't. But yeah, so this is a great way to, you know, it's a minimal amount. You're spending, you know, $2 a day. I don't think it'll allow you to go much lower than that, but it estimates, so right here, 4 to 16 likes per day. It might vary, of course. It's not going to be actual, but it'll show it's a low cost to get a larger like audience into your website. So as I said, like all these likes, most of them are not me in any way, shape, or form. I can see if I can pull up that was an old campaign that I had going, and let's just see what they were at. Do any of you ever ran a likes campaign in any way, shape, or form? Apparently, which one is it? Not yet. I have to see. I ran a lot of likes, or ads, just so you know, so it's hard to find the one that it would be under, because this is, again, from a while ago. I was going to just create it, and it might have just erased all my conversion stuff, so that's kind of crappy. Another thing that you guys can do, so I won't be able to find it because it looks like it really erased all my stats for some reason. Another thing that you guys can do is when you share things on social media, on your business page, if you notice that so-and-so likes your post, invite them to like your page. So because again, if somebody shares something that you posted on your Facebook page and they shared it and one of their friends likes that article or whatever it may be, then you can invite that person to like your page. So that's one thing that you're able to do as well. So you can typically see that on the post itself when somebody likes that. You should be able to. This is all stuff that I used to do, so I haven't been at it, but you can typically load the people that liked that. And so you can actually, and so if these people already like my page, but you would see something here that says invite, you would invite those people to like your page. So that's one way that you can increase your audience, just simply by adding those people or encouraging them to like your page in that fashion. So there is, you can run likes campaigns so that you can increase the likes on your Facebook business page. So that more people, you have a bigger audience. So when you're boosting posts and you're just wanting to share it with that audience or their friends, or if you want to create lookalike audiences, because you can do that. And that's one of the things that I think Ado is going to be talking about, and I'm not sure if Nadim is going to be on there, but creating audiences and creating lookalike audiences based on people that have engaged in your ads, or based on people who like your page, and you'll find other people that share similar qualities with those people and run the ads in front of those people. So it's a great tool to be able to do that and leverage, but it's definitely something that you set and forget, and increases those page likes. And yeah, so sometimes you'll see different websites like Facebook pages, and you might notice like, holy smokes, they've got a lot of page likes. They probably at one point in time did a likes campaign. They might not still be doing it, because I haven't really seen very many likes campaigns anymore. It's almost as if they moved it, because it's not in the ads manager anymore. You can only do it through the page. So I went into the ads manager. I didn't see where I could create a likes campaign. I could only do it through the promote on the business page itself. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to give you guys. It's a little bit of a challenge for you guys, and a little bit of encouragement on creating that blog post, whether it's if you guys have your website with us or not. But then, sharing that, and if you have the means to boost it for a handful of days, if you feel like it's a great article. And then we'd have, like everyone, we'd love to see if you did do that, if you generated any leads from it, right? Because that post, essentially, they're going to your website. And so if your branded website has any kind of lead capture on it, on the listings, because they might ultimately go check out other stuff on your website, you might just generate a lead from that blog post. So that is pretty cool as well. In the blog post, you are also able to see, how many times it's been shared as well. So if people are sharing it, you'll be able to see that information and kind of, get an idea. If you're sharing it this way, I don't even know how it shows up. Let's just try it together. I feel like it doesn't show up, but let's just post it and we will find out. It might show a smaller icon. It might show the bigger icon. Nope, it showed the bigger icon. So that's an easier way to do it. So a faster way to do that. If you really wanted to do that, 100% up to you how you do that. Just delete that. But anyone there that shares it, so if I share it from here and share it from there, it should update on here. So yeah, so we can see here that somebody shared, or I shared it right here. So if people start sharing it, you're going to be able to see all that information on here. Anyone have any questions before we end for today with respect to all of this? Or anything else for that matter that anyone may be struggling with or wants to know how to do? How many of you think that you're going to actually do the blog post? There's a lot of, okay, so Sharon's going to do that. Sammy's going to do that. Awesome, you guys. It's something like if you just get into the habit, again, I 100% understand it's so much easier for me to just say, hey guys, this is what you're going to do, than to actually, you know, do it. It's two totally different things. I 100% get that. So Zita might try how to do that. I do encourage it. This is a skill set. If you get into the habit of doing that, will be most beneficial. If you guys start to do searching on social or on Facebook, not Facebook, on Google. So if you start to just start searching in like real estate, for example, you're going to notice that a lot of these sites that come up are sites that have been around for a while. If they're not sites that have been around for a while, I can guarantee you that these people are constantly updating their website. So you'll always see sites like Remax on the first page, right? They've got a whole department for that, right? They're constantly doing that. And so on and so forth. So it's just, and then one of the biggest questions that we'll get from people is when they get a new listing, and on Google, they search that listing and they notice, you know, Sally Smith is showing first with her listing information and it's your listing. Google, for one, doesn't know that that's your listing. What Google does know is Sally's website is a little bit more up to date than yours. So that's why it's going to promote it. So that's just something, so your site just starts to continuously, pushing up into the SEO results and the search results. One thing that you guys can also do, and you can also add content to your community pages. Don't add content all at once. Like, don't get all gung-ho and be like, I'm going to do all these in one day. You're going to do it gradually, because if you do it in one dump, Google will consider that one dump of information. So you will want to spread it out. But also on every page you have in this website, you have page settings. So in here, you can actually add your own additional keywords for this page, or your own specific description as to what somebody would find on this page. So you can literally do this through your entire website, adding those meta tags and descriptions for that to help with Google and increasing those. So Astia says she's going to blog post as well. So that's awesome. So I am looking forward to seeing what everyone posted. If you're willing to, obviously when we're on here next Friday, I obviously don't, expect you guys to do this by Monday. That would not be actually Monday there won't be one because it's a holiday. So just so you guys know, there will not be a webinar on Monday. It is a holiday. So it's perfect that it'll be on Friday. So on Friday, if you've got your blog post and you're willing to share it and what have you, we'll have you come on to see how, you found it, if it did anything for you, if you boosted it, if you got any leads from it, and as well, if anyone does decide to venture into creating a likes campaign, then that will work as well. I find a likes campaign, it's all about the image. So I had an image on mine that really, it had something to do with my page, but it didn't. And it was like, I feel like it's in Insights. It was more or less what drove the page to have as many likes as it did. This is, let's see. So if you guys go into your Insights and you're boosting a post, so if you boost it for 5 days, and if you notice that your organic reach is higher than a paid reach, you almost want to run an ad with that, because if you're trying to generate some sort of lead from it. So like this one here, it was like a 448 was paid, organic was 3200. This would be something that you would run an ad with. I don't think my likes campaign is on here. Let me just see. No. if I try to find it, I will show you where I found that and I'll try to find it for next week. It's very like, you know, it wasn't even to do with anything it had to do with my page, but it was more the images, like, you know, I can't even remember what it was, but it was more or less people were liking that image, but also in the same sense, liking the page. So I was getting a lot of likes with respect to the image itself, as well as having people do that, liking the page as well. Yeah, we'll see if it shows up in here. No, it's not showing up. Sammy is asking, so can you use a video on a likes campaign? Yes, you can. So you would just change that image to a video. So where you would go to edit that image, you would change it to a video in that sense, to like the page. So whether it's a video of yourself or what have you, whatever it may be, you definitely can do that. So here's the image. I think this is it. I found it. Maybe. Asia's asking, COVID page and coffee page, how difficult it is to put on the website? Not at all. You just email support@agentlocator.ca and they will put it on your website for you. It's typically a quick, turnaround. This was the image for my post for my likes campaign. Had nothing, like it did do with what I was trying to service, but you know, it was you know, seemed to encourage a lot of people to like my page for the most part. So it was very simple. It wasn't anything over the top, and actually, you know, produced a lot of reward for it. So that is the image that I use. So if you guys have or need any help with respect to this, actually I think we do. Son has a little off topic, but I'm looking to have a session regarding cold calling systems, process for setting up prospects on Street Match. Any thoughts? So Sean, yes, you can schedule. So cold calling, are you looking for more or less like what do you say to people, or do you have leads in your system that you're looking to call? For all of you on here, and I'm just going to put it in the chat section, is we do have that training. It'll be called CRM training, but if you need help with your website, or if you need help with, you know, setting up somebody on Street Match, things like that, you can definitely be helped with that. If you've already had a trainer that's worked with you and it lasted a while, you're going to want to use that trainer. That way, unless you didn't like that trainer for some reason, we hope that's not the case. We're not going to make you force that, you know, that connection there. But yeah, so you can, so Sean, have you watched any of our Beverly live dials? So the live dialing sessions where Beverly calls leads live. We don't typically do cold calling. We do calling like the leads that are in your system. One great person that I know does cold calling is he was just on Mike, our Thursday's webinar, Michael Samra. He has a Facebook page called Prospecting Ninjas, and he'll do cold calling. He does it for like seller leads in a specific neighborhood. So it's more or less, you know, listening to somebody and how they deliver that. We find that if we give you guys scripts, you're never actively listening to the person. So you guys, I'm sure, have all been on a call at some point in your life where you can 100% confirm that that person was using a script. It wasn't a very relaxed conversation. It was very like technical because they were more focused on the script they were using than actually engaged in the conversation with you. And so you don't want to be in that predicament where somebody's telling you valuable information, but the script that you're reading doesn't really reflect that, and then you're more like, focused on the script rather than the person, and not having an actual real conversation with them, because that's all it is having a conversation. But yeah, so Sean, I did post that in there. You can book a training through that if you haven't already had a training with anyone. If you go onto our YouTube channel, so you just go onto YouTube and search for Agent Locator, you will find some Beverly Live Dial webinars. They will be on there. So you'll be able to watch the full webinar if you want to, but we also take little snippets of those webinars. So when she's, talking about mindset or something, or when she's actually having a conversation with a lead, and how that conversation. So again, it could be all different situations that those leads are in, right? It could be a conversation where the person was, barely willing to talk to her, or some of them where they're chatty Cathys, and it's almost like you got to stop the conversation, because if you don't, they're going to just keep on going. So a lot of different scenarios in that. But yeah, look up, if you're looking for cold calling stuff, I would, look for it's called Prospecting Ninjas. He does like mojo calls. I'm not sure if he targets specific streets and just calls all the owners on the street, really with respect to selling their house essentially. But everything else with respect to your system, they'll be able to help organize your database by creating filters for you, the importance of logging your calls, tagging, where to throw timelines in, any other feature that you may find useful in there, they can definitely point you in the right direction. So hopefully that helps you out in that sense. Yeah, so yeah, you're very welcome, Sean. If there's nothing else, we are just past 11 here. So you guys, I believe, are more or less all part of our Facebook group. I imagine that's where more or less you've got this. If you haven't been part of our Facebook group, let me get you that link so that you guys can request to join, and I will let you in. Some people aren't. I try to make it apparent, but we post all of these in here. So all of these webinars are all in the video sections in the Facebook group, Agent Locator group. So even though they're a live video, you can watch it again through there. You're also going to notice in there in the Facebook group as well that you will see the live webinars. Alma will post on it. She comes updates, and she posts all the replays on there as well. So you can look for that. I'll see if I can grab I don't know if I can share the URL because it is a private group, more or less. But let me just see if I can. Let me just see what this does if I copy this link address. That is just the photo, I think. Oh, maybe not. Okay, you can try this. It's very long. It might work if you're already part of the group, but you'll be able to see when you see more on that image. You'll see all the there's links to all the past webinars we've been doing for the past couple of months. They're all on there. So that's something when you have a little bit of time you can go through, but it is there. So Alma is great at updating that. She typically updates it. But again, if you need it sooner than she gets it up on there, just email me, crystal@agentlocator.ca, and I'll shoot you off the recording through Zoom, and we'll go from there. But thank you all for watching. If you guys run into anything when you're creating your blogs or likes campaign, you just need that little bit of assistance, you're just kind of getting stuck, just reach out. I'm here to help. I want to see you guys succeed at this and generate more traffic to your websites. Everyone have a great long weekend. Hopefully the weather is okay wherever you are. And we will see you all again on Friday for this, or Tuesday with Addo, one or the other. See you then.